G'day guys, welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters Season 8 in Singapore here. Joined with me is Todd for the first time today.
Our first PvP, but certainly not the last.
Absolutely not. We've got a lot of pro shots here today. We are going to be having Feast, who has just recently just got off the back of beating Targa there in the open bracket, knocking our good friend Targa down into the lower bracket. So Feast will be facing Squirtle in a PvP, and Squirtle, what is there to say about this guy? He is an amazing heavyweight, a vintage player that's been keeping up with the meta. He's really still an amazing player. I just had a look at his status. He's in 66th percentile for PvP. It's pretty good.
Good ratio. I had to face Squirtle once in a tournament at IPL, in which he ended up finishing second in. I met him in first round actually, and I almost beat him. It was 2-1. But I think he's very strong in mirror. But I feel like we kind of know Squirtle already, even though like we don't see him all the time in tournaments. He does take part in a whole bunch of them, even in some online ones as well. And he always performs very, very well. But Feast, he's the guy here who has something to prove. He's the guy who's on a comeback. He was inactive for a while. He went inactive completely. There was a news on his team's website and all that. And now this is the one tournament here where he tries and do a comeback from here. Already beating Targa is already pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, Targa's an amazing player.
Yes.
You know, he hasn't had really too many results since maybe that round of 4 in DreamHack that he made a little while ago, probably last year sometime. But Feast, I was talking to Targa actually before he played his game. He feels like Feast is actually a really good contender for today because he's been grinding practice like crazy. He reckons 40 games a day.
That's good because, I mean, when he went inactive, it really felt for some time that maybe he was not going to come back, and he seemed to have lost his passion. And now, I mean...
You never leave StarCraft. You always come back. Always come back.
This guy, his practice regime is always extremely strong, high. He always plays a ton when he's practicing for tournaments, and I'm sure it was no different this time. So Avenge is already waiting in the winner bracket finals.
Yeah, for this group of open bracket. There's another group as well. But here we go. So we have Avenge waiting in the winners bracket finals. As Todd mentioned, we got Feast and Squirtle, which we're about to show you very soon. We got Blisk and San. San sorting out Blisk in a 2-0. A little bit sorry to see Blisk go so soon. Pig and Targa in the losers bracket here. They're actually two players that have faced each other many times in the C tournament scene. Usually Targa getting the better hand of Pig, but Pig's ZVZ is still pretty amazing, man. It's one of his best matchups. Wouldn't be surprised to see him up against an ST in the losers bracket there. Actually, either of those players could go through. So plenty of PvZ and PvP for today.
And I mean, the winner of Feast versus Squirtle will already have got a good warm-up in the matchup to face Avenge in the winner bracket finals here. Whereas Avenge, he already won versus Nesty, so he's sitting pretty here in these finals, and he only has to wait and watch. He gets to study his opponent's first hand, which is going to be a good advantage as well. If you're Squirtle or Feast here, I don't think you try to hide anything. You have to give your best in this match to have a serious shot at qualifying.
If you don't, the other player will kill you.
Yes.
So they will be showing probably their best builds, and Avenge gets to see those if he's watching.
Yeah, so he will.
Big advantage for him.
Yeah. But we got the invite into the game already, and it looks like our first map is going to be Frost. Definitely one of those newer and interesting maps that we don't see vetoed all that often. Yeah, I would say out of the new maps in PvP, this Frost doesn't get vetoed all that often. Some players that don't like 4-players map, they will veto it because there is a little bit more randomness than on other maps. And if you would like to play very aggressive, if you have very offensive build with which you don't like to waste time, even scouting and all, it really depends on what type of player you are. But yeah, Frost, interesting map here. And these two players, I don't think any of them likes to go for a quick expansion. So we might see fireworks on one base at first. And then if nobody dies, if somehow both of them manage to stay alive and one of them tries to expand first and the opponent sees that there is no way he can make any timing work, his opponent might try to expand. So I feel like it's very unlikely we're going to see like a one-base expand with like some sentries and some with the Mothership Core. You got the wrong two guys for that. These guys, they are one-base aggression and then develop into something.
So it might actually be a quick series. I hope not, because I like to see as much StarCraft as possible. Actually, when you mention the vetoes, I actually veto 4-player maps generally. I don't know why. I actually prefer I just like the 1v1 map.
I mean, it's hard to go 11-11.
That's exactly right. Exactly. It's very hard to go 11-11 on a 4-player map, Todd. Thank you very much for that. It's also very hard to do proxy double stalker on a 4-player map. So
come on, I did it only 1 game out of 10.
I've seen it twice this weekend already. Anyway, in the bottom right of Frost, we have got the IEM player, the Protoss Squirtle. And what about this guy, Todd? Who's this guy?
This is, you want me to do the introduction?
Yeah, yeah, just for this guy, yeah.
All right, he comes from Belgium. He speaks fluent French and he's very handsome. We have Millennium's Feast.
He is actually very handsome. I've never met him before until today, so it's another one to add to the handsome book. There's a lot of handsome players here. Shout out to Pig as well from the C region coming down here, one of the prettiest guys alive.
You give him a shout out on stream even though he's like 10 meters away.
Hey man, he hasn't been on yet. Gotta give him some love.
Yeah, Pig is awesome.
He
and
is.
Gate 12 here by Fist. This is interesting.
Oh.
We could be seeing something very aggressive out of him. And I mean, I already predicted aggression, but when I mean very aggressive, the difference between just aggressive and very aggressive will be like a quick 3 warp gate attack with 1 Zealot, 1 Stalker, and then starting proxying pylons across the map. But no, Fist goes for the double gas behind this, and I mean, there's still a lot of possibilities here. This could not mean anything. He could have just gone for gate 12 just for the sake of getting his tech a little bit faster, getting his score. It's gonna weaken his economy just a little bit, not too much.
Just 1 probe difference, really.
Yeah.
So.
Which can be huge over long term, but I mean, in general, in the start of the game, not that important. And whoa!
Okay.
Cybernetic score before second pylon, and now he's sending a probe across the map.
So this is going to be very aggressive here from Feast by the looks of it.
Does he go for second pylon in the middle of the map somewhere? Looks like no, he just wants to scout with it, but I do think that almost every single time here, this is going to be a proxy target, and Squirtle is doing the same thing.
And proxy will be for Squirtle,
he's
actually.
Barely going to miss it.
He's actually not scouting it.
Both players barely miss each other, and wow, this is crazy here. I really like the way Squirtle did this, by the way. He's basically making this target in a position where it will be good to attack any of the 3 potential bases and position where Fist might be at. He didn't even scout a single position yet, whereas Fist, he scouted 1 position, he knows his opponent can only be on the right-hand side.
Does see the probe if he was looking at the minimap. That'd be very, very suspect for Feast. Does he go and have a look? No, he actually didn't see it.
Wow, I mean, how do you react to this? You see a probe coming from this side, you're like, you can't really guess that there's going to be some kind of proxy this early on. Squirtle, his target is so early. It's going to arrive before there is a photon overcharge. If there is only 1 Stalker made, there's not going to be warp gate finished by the time the Oracle finishes. So
the Oracle's going to be so hard to defend, man, to say the least.
1 Stalker to kill, and he's not even getting a Stalker. He wants to get the Quip Stargate.
Oh no.
This is disastrous here.
Yeah, Feast might actually just get build order loss here. This is very unfortunate for Feast in the early game. I mean, he might be able to pull a miracle out here, but it's on paper looking very, very dire for the Belgian Protoss.
He's moving across the map with the 1 Stalker that he has. He's getting another one in the meantime, but I mean, you need photon overcharge to buy yourself time. There's no way he's going to have a Phoenix on time either. By the way, this build look OP as hell. I'm going to use it. It does he didn't even scout against the Stargate.
It does actually look like a pretty simple way to get some pretty easy points on the ladder. And here comes that Oracle, proxied by Squirtle heading into the main. And that Stargate just finishing now for Feast, but it's going to be a little bit too late here.
How many probes do you think die?
A lot. Probably at least 8. Here we go. 3 down, 4 down, 5, 6. 1 Stalker out here, 7. And there's the 8th. Looks like he's going to get maybe 1 more. 2 more, 3 more, my God. This is obviously a very, very effective Oracle here from Squirtle, already paid for itself, and then some. Feast taking heavy supply damage here in the workers, so that econ and damage really doesn't help you. I mean, even on 1 base, it hurts even more, man. So
12 probes were killed in total this game, and Feast even has a probe across the map doing nothing right now, so his income is very minimal compared to his opponent. I think from there, if you're Squirtle, you just go for a follow-up attack, and either try to inflict more damage to your opponent, or finish him. And I think that's exactly what he's going to do. He throws down the Twilight Council.
Yep. Could be DT, Blink Stalker. Either way, both of those are going to be very effective against Feast here. In fact, it's probably going to be Blink Stalker because of that Stargate. And yeah, 2 Stalkers being warped in now for Squirtle, so it probably will be Blink.
I mean, DT will be good here as well because it will force Oracles being made from his opponent. But no, you're right. It's going to be Blink. Being on 3 gateways here, Squirtle, he just has to build up his Stalker count, which is on 3 right now. And the follow-up attack, I really don't see how Fizz could hold. Like, if you look at these walkers.
Yeah, it's hard to. I'm looking around, man. It's hard to find a way for Feast to try and pull something out here. I mean, being on one base is the perfect opportunity to be able to be defensive. Well, not be defensive, but be able to hold an Oracle. But this Oracle came so quickly and so hard for Feast here. But taking 12 workers damage on one base, cannot stress enough how bad that is in a mirror matchup especially. It's really horrific. 2 Stalkers here. This Oracle will be denied, but not before it takes out another couple probes.
Wow, and I completely agree with this choice, by the way. He wanted to get as many kills as he could before going for the follow-up attack that he wants to go for, because Feast was kind of trying to rebuild his economy as much as possible now. So those Phoenixes not going to be able to do anything. The Photon Overcharge was used. By the time it finishes, he's going to have another one to defend against the Phoenixes. So now he goes for the attack with the Blink Stalkers. And he has 10 Stalkers versus 2 right now. I mean, how do you hold this?
That's right. It's going to be very hard. He actually isn't tipping off Blink either, not blinking to deal with those Phoenixes. Just going to send them across the map now.
It's about to finish. 20 seconds away.
Righto. There you go.
It takes a long time, man. 170 seconds. You think Stim Pack takes a long time?
Yeah, I was about to say, man, I'm used to Stim. That's the longest upgrade I have to deal with, and that thing just, yeah, I couldn't believe Blink takes that long. But there we go. The Nexus Photon Overcharge going in, as you said, again, deflecting those Phoenixes, and the Stalkers will go across the map. They are now charged with Blink, and Feast is going to hold with 2 Stalkers and 1 Sentry, and 4 Phoenix as well.
He is going to hold with them?
He's going to try to. Here he comes. Blinking, that force field completely denied, and in they come. This Nexus Cannon will not cut the mustard.
And the Photon Overcharge doing its best versus those Stalkers, but why is he pulling probes? Okay, I guess he kind of gave up. GG gets called, and Squirtle takes a quick first win.
Very dominant first game there. Actually seen some pretty dominant series so far. The series just cast with Kalaris was actually pretty one-sided as well.
I watched.
Yeah, Avenge.
I was asked to do analysis if I want. On this series. I did not want to.
Yeah. What do you say? Just say Avenge? Really?
I just said Avenge picked a build and said, I'm going to kill you with it. And then he did.
C'est la vie.
So cheesy.
That's right. I'm practicing my French every opportunity I get.
All right. As I mentioned before, Fizz was on a bit of a break. Wasn't sure he was going to return to StarCraft. He did, and now he's practicing a lot again. How much has he played versus these proxied Oracle things? Because now it really looked like he had no idea at what time this was going to come. Or maybe he thought this wasn't going to come out of Squirtle here, because this is still a pretty risky build, especially versus someone like Feast, who used to go for double gateway Stalkers into 3-gate pressure to counter the quick expansions of his opponent. So there might be some heavy metagame involved here. Maybe Squirtle thought, well, you know what? I never expand, so why would Fizz do this build? But sometimes the players, they do it anyway. Yeah. And now if this had been the case, he could have taken a lot of damage back at home, because he had just 1 Mothership Core. Yeah. Nothing else. Just like 1 or 2 units on the ground, that's it. He was investing a lot into this one Oracle that he sent across the map.
Yeah, I mean, it could have easily gone either way. It's a bit of a knife fight sometimes in the early games of PvP. And I mean, we can't really take away that, Feast is struggling in any respect by that one game, because that was a very, very fast proxy Oracle. A lot of people that are, around Feast or even better than Feast's level would have lost that. Would have been very, very difficult. Maybe even...
Are you joking?
Maybe
you. At me like this?
Maybe you.
Not sure I'm better than Fizz, but yeah, okay. Now, this looked very strong. I really feel like, if I'm thinking build order-wise in my head, what will clearly counter this, besides scouting it, of course, which will almost never happen because it was in such a nice position, maybe a gateway 10 with like warp gates, like 3 warp gates all in. But even that, I mean, you will take so much damage back at home that even if you kill your opponent, then you're in some kind of weird base trade. So even if you won that, it wouldn't be a landslide. You will kill your opponent in his base, you will kill your economy, and then you will be like with like a few Stalkers against 1 lone Oracle. Like this would be one of those weird games.
Yeah, it could have gone either way, but I mean, with the amount of probes that Oracle killed, it's just so hard to imagine a world where he can come out of that ahead.
Very quick Stargates, and then Phoenixes being chrono boosted out.
Yeah, he did get the Phoenixes, but
nobody does. No, but like very quick Stargate, like without any unit. 1 Mothership Core, then Stargate, or even Stargate before that, which nobody does except if your name is Baby Knight. You know what? This is actually very smart, because almost everybody right now is using Oracles. If you have a build where like you go for Phoenixes, and then you refine it a lot, you work a lot on it, then you're going to do very well these days.
Well, I mean, Oracle got that patch, so of course people are starting to use them a little bit more these days. I mean, they're very effective. Some people say, and you know, shout out to another guy, Death back at home, has been coaching me a little bit in the TVP.
Shout out to Baby Knight.
And shout out to Baby Knight, there you go. Mwah, to you guys. If you have 2 working hands, you can't lose an Oracle, I've been told by people since the patch.
They don't play Protoss, do they?
Yeah, no, they don't. So
well, maybe if they did, they would find out they don't have 2 working hands.
Citation needed. There's a little asterisk there on that comment. All right, countdown has begun. Yonsu is our next battlefield for this best of 3 between Squirtle and Feast. So will Feast be able to tie the series 1-1? I actually believe he can. I also believe that Squirtle can take it 2-0 just as easily because of the pedigree of this player. He's been amazing for a very long time. And here we go. Jumping into the map right now on the top, in the bottom left, we're going to start here, is going to be the Belgian Protoss Feast. And in the top right from LGIM, this is Squirtle. Just going to introduce this guy. Don't want to have to get Todd to do it again.
I like that word you used, pedigree.
Pedigree?
We use this for dogs in France.
Yeah.
For animals usually.
Well, yeah, you generally do. Pedigree is a bit of a pet word, just to say like your breed is good. That's what pedigree
Why
means.
you use it for players?
Because he is a good breed. Good breed of Protoss. Don't dissect my casting, man.
It's not casting, it's just vocabulary.
I
always learn new words with Skylaris, and now I didn't know you can use pedigree with players.
You can use whatever.
And maybe you still can't. That's what I just learned by listening to you.
English is one of those languages you can freestyle. You don't need any build orders. You can just do whatever you want, whenever you want. Eventually it works.
All right, are we going to see a Gateway 12 here by Feast? Are we going to see, again, another crazy proxy Oracle? This is a 2-player map, so this is very
Look at this
different,
pylon.
obviously.
There's a little bit of a different position here. Okay, so there's going to be the 12 gate there for Feast.
Yeah, the cannon rush also very common on this map, but now I guess everybody has kind of figured out how to counter it.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times already with your laddering, and I've also lost to it as well, that cannon rush in between that sort of, at the north of the main there.
Oh, you're Terran?
Yeah, I've still lost to it. Still one time I lost to it. It was a very, very bad day. Very bad day.
We all have those.
Yeah. It was a random player, and he cannoned me right there.
What race are you in? And boom, boom, there's a cannon shooting at you.
Yeah.
You need to scout at 9 if you at 9. Best way to be safe. And
being safe, probably a good idea against either of these players.
Fist is scouting very early. Usually in Protoss versus Protoss, you don't scout that early very often. But now he really feels like he wants to know exactly what's up with Squirtle. He doesn't want to get surprised again with the same kind of proxy target. So now he's going to be able to see that this is fairly standard. Double gas, then Cybercore, 2+2 on the gases of Squirtle, whereas Fist is already on 3+3. Very good chance he's going to go for more tech-heavy build. Usually, you know what I say, Twilight or Stargate, because those are very costly in gas, even more so than Robo.
The second gateway is the choice here for Squirtle. Feast looking like he might actually dropping a Stargate. Or, actually, we're not too sure what Feast is up to just yet. We'll see what happens when that Cybercore finishes. But Squirtle with that second gateway, what's his plan?
Usually you get 1 sentry and then some stalkers, or just 3 stalkers, but he's not making any units yet, interestingly enough.
Oh my
he starts
God.
his mothership core. Man, that's one angry probe here.
It's a worker revolt right now. It's actually only 2 hits away from killing that thing, but marker pretty good here from Squirtle, does deny that.
First stalker underway. I think he probably gets 3 stalkers, then either into some kind of pressure. I don't think I've ever seen Squirtle expand off 1 base very early on, at the 5th minute or something.
Okay,
but
so it is a Stargate from Feast, so it's right again. It's weird to be right twice. I'm normally a little bit more wrong than this. So the
enjoy
Stargate...
it.
Sorry? Enjoy it while it lasts, yeah. All right, so Stalker out here for Feast, just looking around to see what he can snipe, any probe or anything like that, looking for pylons. Nothing to see here from Squirtle, all the pylons
Twilight
on his
Council.
main. Yeah?
This is my build. Well, this is similar to
build. Squirtle stole your builds.
This is similar to one of my builds. Basically, if you know your opponent likes to play on 1 base, and be it Dark Templar, Stargate, Blink, and he's very good against any kind of expansion play, which usually 1 base players, they are very good against it. You can just open with Blink on 1 base or Dark Templar, and then once you're safe in the mid game, you can expand. And if you're up against an expand, then you can just put a hold on your tech or whatever and take your expansion as soon as possible, and then catch up on probes with some nice chrono boost.
Absolutely right there. And we've got an Oracle on the way for Feast, just about to pop out now. We'll see what damage he can get done here as, you know, with those extra gateways, he does have a lot of Stalkers.
Okay.
So
third gateway, not a force just yet.
Ah, there it is.
If Squirtle had cut probes after the 18s on the minerals that he has in his main, there could have been some kind of huge all-in or big pressure coming on. But now it looks like it's just going to be standard pressure plus Walker production in the meantime. But the one Oracle is getting positioned to do some damage. The Mothership Core was recalled. There's no photon overcharge available.
Yeah, and actually the Stalkers are only just getting into the main as well. So if he's going to get a couple kills here, does get two there. Oracle just swimming. Oh my god, these three Stalkers.
And this is pretty good for Feast here. He's getting a second Oracle in the meantime.
Yep.
I think this is just in case there was some kind of Dark Templar attack. It would have arrived like a few seconds ago, so we would be able to defend now. But his reaction upon seeing the Blink player from his opponent is to get a Robo, and he's sending the second Oracle across the map because he knows he doesn't need it at home.
Yeah, he's trying to keep the Stalkers at home here, I think.
I think... Is he going to start an expansion? I think he's really thinking about it right now. He's maybe going to proxy some pylons across the map. The two probes are going to meet.
Yep.
I think at this point, he's basically holding Squirtle hostage. Like, if Squirtle leaves his base, Oracles are going to fly into his main, and that's exactly what happens here.
Absolutely, getting another few probe kills here, and this is really, really important for him because it is still one base. Blinking forward here, still won't get the Oracle, though. It does escape.
And this is really smart what Fist is doing with warping in a pylon across the map, too. He could send in some Zealots inside his opponent's main and then send in the Oracles in support. And holding him hostage. I don't see a better way to describe this. He's basically going to keep Squirtle confined inside of his main while he can expand himself with some Immortals.
Yeah, and with his Immortals, he's not going to, well, the Immortals he gets, obviously he's not going to be afraid of Blink Stalkers attacking him anymore because they just tear them to shreds. So really nice play here from Feast, really inside Squirtle's head right now in the early game.
Oh, and Feast very smartly so scouts around this natural to see if there is a pylon there. He saw the one pylon that there was. Feast actually has no vision right now on the map. He doesn't have any watchtower. The only one who has the watchtower is Squirtle with the one Stalker at the bottom. So maybe he's scared of a huge attack here. A huge Blink Stalker all-in could present a threat to him. So he's going to play it very safe. He delayed his Nexus a lot, but if you look at his probe saturation in his main, it doesn't really matter because he's going to be able to transfer probes quite quickly. Whoa!
A little bit sloppy there from Feast.
He got the Revelation on a bunch of those Stalkers, plus the entire main as well. So he's going to be able to know everything for now.
Yep, very, very true. It's a spell that you just don't see as often as just using that straight-up probe killing cannon, the Pulsar Beam. And Squirtle's got a good idea of this Oracle here in the front of the Naturals, just chilling there.
They're like observing each other.
Yeah, that's right.
Being observed by Infest.
You make the first move. No, you make the first move, that sort of thing.
And well, that's a lot of energy on that Oracle. Imagine how many probe kills you could get.
At least 5,000.
And double Stargate behind this by Squirtle. This is one of the best moves you can do. When you open Blink Stalker, you're against somebody playing Robo. What is he going to get? Immortals, possibly Colossi. If you get the double Stargate, you can just get a bunch of Void Rays out and you're going to do very well with this. Also, remember, he's being held hostage still. There is the Oracle nearby. If he gets one Phoenix first, he can get rid of that one Oracle with enough energy to kill 5,000 probes, as you say.
Feast did scout those two Stargates going down as well, though, with that hallucinated Phoenix.
Seeing it early. I think Void Ratio will be very good, but since he's been scouted, getting 2 Phoenixes and maybe going up to 4 will be enough that he doesn't commit to it too much. And since he already has the Twilight Council, Squirtle, he can just go for the Templar Archives and go into Charge Lot Archons and do very well. Because when you see double Stargate, you're never going to go for Colossus here if you already haven't had.
And as soon as Feast saw those 2 Stargates, he immediately dropped a Twilight Council here. Does get that last Revelation off. He's going to see these Phoenixes, which is nice for Feast. So this is his map vision now.
Yeah. I really like how Squirtle has brought himself back into this game. I really feel that Feast misread the situation. Squirtle expanding first here was not to be expected and should not have happened. But since it happened now, Squirtle, he has caught up on the Walker count. And I mean, tech-wise, even though he's not ahead by any means, he's doing pretty okay. He's got his 4 Phoenixes that he can harass with. He's already got his Twilight Council, as I said. He's getting a Forge now. He's getting a Robo. And he's doing some damage with those Phoenixes. He's almost caught up on supply. I really thought that Feast was very far ahead after all those probe kills that he got in the start.
Well, I mean, it's only 9. In the last game, Squirtle got like 15 in the first attack with 1 Oracle, and it's a little bit different there. He's going for Templar Archives in the main here, so Feast's going to try and get up into Archon Charge Lot.
Was he thinking about the third now? He was sending a probe there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think here. Feast got a lot of Immortals here. Not afraid of Stalkers anymore.
What are those 4 Stalkers doing? Hiding between 2 bushes.
Yep, just being sneaky in the bushes, and Feast will actually scout it with the Observer as well.
He can't really catch them with anything. If he was the one with the Phoenixes, he could have gone, but he's actually leaving his expansion completely naked right now. He has to be careful. Those Phoenixes are going to fly in there and pick up some probes. Squirtle really doing work in this game.
Yeah, he's up to 4 workers killed. Wow. So those Phoenixes actually killed 4 by themselves, and yeah, starting to catch up on the workers kill count. All of a sudden, that Oracle.
I know what he wants to do with the 4 Blink Stalkers. If you keep Blink Stalkers alive, they're not going to do much later on in the big fight. So you can just blink into the main and kill as many probes as you can, because 4 Stalkers one-shot probes. So this is actually one of the best moves that you can do, but Squirtle kind of forgot about it right now. If he had done this earlier, before it got scouted, he would have gotten a lot of probes and gotten a really nice walker lead. Now they have the exact same walker counts.
That's right. That early damage negated now from great play by Squirtle. He spotted a 3rd as well, and looking like he wants to take a 3rd himself now after scouting that.
And both players doing a ton of work with the scouting too. Oh, actually, he has the Phoenixes here in position. If he blinks the 4 Stalkers in the main, he could actually pick up those 3 Immortals and snipe a ton of probes.
The 3 Immortals there. In fact, he's getting a ton of probes already. In fact, I think that Squirtle now has actually the workers killed lead after that.
Wow.
Yep, there it is.
Squirtle really playing so well here. After he had a bumpy start, really able to make most of the situation. He did not rush into anything stupid. He just waited. He made sure he was taking all the right decisions. And now with all the harass that he's done, I feel like he's in a great position. But Fizz still has a much earlier 3rd base than his opponent.
Better upgrades as well.
Yeah, +2 finishing now, whereas +1 is about to finish for Squirtle. So nothing's done yet. Both players can still win this game, but I have to give the edge to Squirtle. Taking to Colossi already, and having those 4 Phoenixes. He could pick up all of those Immortals from Fist.
He's actually got a 13 supply lead in that army supply as well, so he's got a stronger army. A lot of Immortals here are going to be able to deal with those Stalkers, but Colossus are on the way with Thermal Lance for Squirtle, so yeah. We'll have to see this position. He can't come down this ramp, he needs to stay at the top.
Phoenixes need to come back to help and defend against this, and War Prism is making its way towards the base of Squirtle here by Fist. And I like this move, because if you go for this army, this is not a durable army here for Fist. So you need to inflict damage onto your opponent. But if you attack with your entire army somewhere, you cannot do any damage. Whereas if you warp in the main like this, how does Squirtle defend against this? He's going to need to bring back more units. He's going to send back the Mothership Core.
And here he goes, the Mothership Core coming back, and Feast engaging down here on the ramp. He has the Concave, a lot of Archons at the front here. Zealots at the front doing a lot of work as well. The Colossus being targeted down. The Zealots of Feast also winning the battle in the main.
Oh my god. Has he done it? He's done so much damage. This was a great move here already, and even if it doesn't work here, this was already one of the best things that he could do. He's doing a ton of damage to the Nexus now. He took out a bunch of probes. Feast, that is, and
Feast takes the 30 supply lead.
Wow. Now he's saturated on his 3rd base. He could go for a 2nd Robo and a Robo Bay as well for Colossus, but he's getting the Fleet Beacon instead.
There you go. It looks like he's going to get up into Tempest to deal with that Colossus count. Going to make it tougher and tougher for Squirtle to get those Colossus count up. And there's more the Zealots going in here for another few probe kills. And going for another attack on the 3rd as well with the Archons and the Immortals. And this Nexus is almost certainly dead if he wanted to target that down. But he does leave. There's one Immortal there.
He doesn't have Time Warp or Recall at this point. So he would be caught out of position. And those Phoenixes actually going to chase here. They can pick up those Immortals.
They do pick them up, and Squirtle's starting to fight back. Picking them up with his Stalkers that he has left, the Phoenixes as well.
Feast overextended here. He gained the lead, but I mean, this wasn't... He had to macro right behind this. He had to pull back on time. He did not, and because of this, Squirtle is probably going to want to look to punish here. He has a pylon proxied across the map already. +3 about to finish for Feast, and he's trying to rebuild an army as big as possible before he has to engage again. He has this nice walker lead, but in army supply, Squirtle is about 10 army supply ahead right now, and with this Colossi ready to do so much damage, he just needs to add Zealots and Archons to his composition. That's it. If those can tank for long enough, the Colossus are going to do work.
And he has a lot of Zealots already and 1 Archon in his mix here, so he could definitely add to that mix, setting up a further proxy pylon. Feast getting up into a little bit of a choke here. Needs to be very careful about how he engages here. This could potentially be game ending. And this 3rd under heavy siege. Squirtle just poking at it. Time Warp going down on the Zealots. Bit of a run by Feast into the natural while this all goes on as well in Squirtle.
Yeah, the 3-0 run by is really, really nice. He's going to try to kill a few probes there, but I think ultimately he's going to lose his third base and his walker.
Feast is going to try and get a concave and catch here. And here come the charge lots of Feast, getting a bit of a wraparound around Squirtle's army. Does he have enough? 4 Archons in the mix, doing a lot of splash damage at the back. This might just be too much Colossus here from Squirtle, though. Feast, will he break through? Not just quite enough. He does actually do a lot of damage to that run by, though.
Yeah, he hesitated for a second, so he was like pulling back, came back in, then he took a ton of damage.
Taking even more damage. Oh, the Colossus beams cutting straight through that transfer line there of probes. Oh my god.
And those zealots across the map, they killed so many probes.
They did.
They killed over 15 probes, just the 3 of them. One of them fell, but I think Squirtle is going to want to look to finish this game here and now.
And here he goes. He's pushed Feast into that little corner in the front of the natural there.
And the Immortal dies.
Oh, and that's going to be, I think, curtains for Feast here as far as his composition goes. He's got 1 Immortal on the high ground. But these Colossus from Squirtle still untouched, doing a sick amount of damage here. 1 Immortal tries to target it down, doesn't quite get one, nearly doing the damage there, but the Colossus does live. And this is just getting harder and harder for Feast as this natural gets under siege there. And there it goes, GG. And
that was an action-packed game where I really feel like the Edge went back and forth, and Squirtle, this was one of the only timings that he could make work here. And also that huge mistake by Feast overextending on the third base. If he had pulled back, can you imagine? He was getting +3 during that last big fight that there was at this third base.
I mean, if he had a
against +1. Like, this is huge.
Yeah.
He had the Mothership Core, but no energy.
I mean, if he could recall, yeah, absolutely. He had the upgrade advantage. He was 30 supply ahead as well.
I think not even. He didn't need to snipe the Nexus on the third base. He just had to pull back. Just pull back. After you did the damage that you did, you pull back, you let your opponent get rid of the Zealots that you have in his main. They already did the damage anyway. And then he was so many walkers ahead. He was 72 walkers to like 50-something. You just make a huge army, then you can't lose anymore. Unless your opponent gets a critical Colossi count, but then he could do the same follow-up attack a little bit later on. He kind of misread it, but overall, he put up one hell of a fight. I don't know many Protosses that could have played this well against Squirtle.
My next point was also to say to Feast fans, welcome back, because this guy is really worth following. He put up a really great game against one of the best Protoss here today. Possibly the best Protoss here today, as some would argue. So I guess we're going to take a bit of a break here before our next best of 3, guys. You were watching the Intel Extreme Masters in Singapore with Maynard and Todd, and we'll see you very soon for more games.